Hello everyone, my name is Saksham Dikshit and this is my channel Pentest Diary. So today I'll make another video on the extension of the previous video itself, which I call it as a multi-inheritance itself. So we have talked about the inheritance itself, and even in that video itself I have covered the concept of multiple inheritance. Now I'm covering the concept of overriding a parent function in multiple inheritance. Okay, so how exactly the things going on with that, and how exactly the concept of overriding the parent function is coming over there. So multi-inheritance is like inheritance, one of the concept which we have already discussed about it, like how one contract we can import the content of to the another contract itself, and just using the virtual keyword override keyword itself, so which we have discussed about it. Multiple inheritance, like where we are using multiple contracts, more than two, so in that case a multiple inheritance is coming over there itself. But if we're talking about the overriding parent function is a concept, then in that case this is the stuff which we are trying to get it sorted out over here itself. I'll try to make you understand about it, how exactly we can use it. Okay, so we just go with the theory part first, and once we're done with it we'll go for the practical. There is a single code I have written for it, so we'll go for it. So in Solidity, when you have multiple inheritance and two or more parent contract define a function with the same name and the signature, you can override the function in the derived contract to specify which parent's implementation should be used. Here's how can we override a parent function in a derived contract with a multiple inheritance. So it means like in case of inheritance itself, we can inherit the function to any other contract itself using the virtual keyword and overriding. We can override the content also, get it, return it back. But if we want to use in a contract itself, derived contract have to and there is two base contract which we are defining over there. So base contract is one of the term which we have discussed about it, and there is another concept which we call as a derived contract. So if we just talk about both the things to be get it derived, so if there are two base contract, two parent contract, and there is a derived contract where we are just trying to use both the base contract, then in that case how exactly the preference will be given to the same function which is defined in both the contract, in contract A and contract B. Then at that time only we are defining a override over there, and we have to define it from where exactly these functions are present. So we have to give it manually from our side. So that thing we'll just try to get it covered. So now if we're talking about the next section for it, by specifying with a parent function to override, you can resolve the cause by multiple inheritance and provide specific implementation for each overridden function in the derived contract. So is as obvious itself, like we just have to get it defined over there itself where exactly that function is utilized in base contract, so that it's bit easy for it. Like otherwise you will get the error, like even if you're trying to overwrite it, that function is present in both the base contract which you want to derive it, which you want to inherit in the derived contract itself. So at that time only you have to get a defined override along with that where exactly it's utilized in which contract. Okay, so that's all about the theory part itself, which I just want to get it covered in this video. So now we are going to the system, and just to see what exactly is happening in the code itself, and how we utilize the override function concept inside of the multi-inheritance concept itself. Okay, so we'll just try to cover each and every section for it. It's the same code which we are utilizing once again itself, which we are using it for the inheritance. There is another one more contract I have just used it, and I'll just show you that how exactly we can utilize it. Okay, let me go to the system now just to see that. So proceeding further in the same concept for the overriding parent multiple inheritance itself. So this is a code I have written for it, and there are four contracts I'm using it. The name is A, B, C, D. So we'll start with the contract A. This is a straightforward same syntax which we have to use it from all the code itself. And now the first contract name is A. Inside of that we have to define as a state variable. This is unsigned public, and the name of the variable is A. And now we are defining a contract constructor, and inside of the constructor we are defining a value of that state variable. Proceeding further with that, there is another function which we are using it with the name fun a, and this is public, and inside of that also we are defining a value a equal to 10. Okay, so whatever the value we're defining at the time of the constructor when the program get executed, so constructor value a equal to 100, but later phase itself, once we are run with the function a, the value become a 10 itself. Okay. Now after that, if you're talking about the function, another function which we have it in the same contract itself, over there itself we are using a public pure, that's understood. Now the virtual is one of the concepts which we are aware about from the inheritance, and now as we want to give the permission to the another contract just to get it access this, and now just to modify that also and access that, and then returns the value in a string format. Here is the content which we want to get a return. So this is contract number A. Now if we're talking about the contract number B, in contract B also the same thing we are trying to do it, but we just want to make B as derived contract and A become a base contract. Okay, now this is a state variable which we are defining over here itself. This is a constructor which we are defining a value over here itself. Now we are defining one of the function. So over here itself we have only one function which we are using it from there itself, as we have given a permission in contract A, the same function which we are using over here itself, and we just trying to override that. But along with that we are giving a permission to the next contract also. That was the reason we are using virtual along with that override. Okay, we are returning a value is a string format itself, that's the reason, and here is a string which we want to get it, return it back. Now if we going to the next contract C. So now here is a twist. So earlier what exactly is happening, we are just mapping contract C as B itself, but over here itself I just wanted two contract to become a base contract and one is become a derived contract. So over here C is a derived contract and A and B we call it as a base contract. So now if we going inside of it a function itself, so both the contract base contract having a same function name. So how to overcome that problem itself and to make the program code confused about it, which actually be a preference point for a contract A or a contract B. So in that case itself, what exactly we have to do it? So instead of giving it the preferences, what we have to define it, we are giving a virtual over here, as we are utilizing later phases in contract D also. Over here itself, just instead of writing the override, we have to define A and B. So why we are defining A and B, the same function is utilizing inside of the base contract contract A and contract B. That was the reason we have to define it a contract name over here itself. Now we are trying to return the string variable and this is the return value. Okay, I hope you understand this concept. Once again, I'll just try to get it explain you about it. So as C is become a derived contract and A and B become a base contract, so just to use that function inside of the contract C, we wanted that function, like we have to define it which is the preference for both the contracts. So instead of going with the preference, we simply have to get it defined. This function is utilized inside of the contract A and contract B. That was the reason we have to define it over here itself, and then we are returning a value, and this is a return value. Now we go into the contract D. So in contract D, we are defining 3 contracts as a base contract and only 1 contract as a derived contract. Okay, so now over here itself, the same thing which we have did in the contract C, we have to define override A, B, C. That was the reason, and now we are returning a string variable value and just indicate that, and we can see like in the return itself, this is the value, we can return it back. Now let me compile this code and let me deploy it. So for the deployment, we have to deploy it all 4 contract. So now we deployed contract A, now we deployed contract B, now we deployed contract C, and the last one is contract D. Now we go inside of each and every contract. So we'll start with contract A. So as for the code itself, you can see in contract A, the constructor is running and defining a value A equal to 100, and once we calling this function, so A equal to 10. So let me see the value of A first. So at the time running the contract only, so the value will be defined by the constructor and that value will be 100. Now if we click on function A, and now if I try to see A once again, it's become 10. Okay, that's understood. Now if we click on the function fun, and over here itself whatever the value we're defining, it's get reflected. So this is all about the contract A. Now we go to the contract B. So in this case also similar thing happen. We try to access contract A. We can see the value as 50. If we are defining a value B, then in that case we can see it's 200, as constructor have get it defined over here itself, and we are not using any other thing. That was the reason it's not getting changed. Now if I'll try to call function A, and once again if I'll try to see A, then in that case the same values get it assigned over here itself. Okay, so this is initially at the time of the deployment, initialization of it, the constructor will get it define these values, but once we run the function, then at that time itself the value get it change accordingly. But this is, we don't have any value of B inside of the previous contract itself, so that was the reason it's remain be same. Now if we try to click on function, we can see the same output which we have defined over here itself. Now we go to the contract C. Let me close these contract. Yeah, now the contract C. So if we just try to see the value, this is the code. If I try to see the value of A, this will be 50, as it's derived from the B, just take it that as B. Now if I'll try to click on B, this is 200. Okay, as it's immediate, just get it reflected with the B itself. Now if I'll try to click on function A and I'll try to see that value become 10, B is still be 200. If I'll try to see this one, I can able to return it back. I can return this back. So this is the override concept over here itself, and overriding the function itself, like using the same function which is utilized in multiple contracts. So at that time itself, this is the syntax which we are defining it, and we are seeing the output over here itself. Now we go to the final contract, which we call it as a contract D. In this also, if I'll try to see the value A, this is 50 derived from the B itself. Now B equal to 200, it's the same value. Constructor have run it last for us. Now if I'll try to see the value of function, run that function A and try to see, it's become 10 as obvious. So once the constructor, final constructor is running inside of the contract itself, that will your final value will get it assigned. So if I'll try to see the value of A at that time, wheresoever I'll try to access the value of A inside of the whole code, it will be the same 50 till we are not calling the function. Once we calling the function A, then at that time only what exactly is happening, the same value which is defined inside of the function is get it changed. Now for the B itself, 200 is one of the thing, and now if we're talking about the function, what exactly I'm getting, it's a D. So over here also the same concept which we are using it, we'll try to make this as a derived contract and this is a base contract, and over here itself we'll try to inherit inside of the derived contract itself, and that was the reason as this function is utilized inside of the 3 base contract. To make it working over here itself, we just have to get it mention all the contract where exactly we have this function, and accordingly we can map it, and the return value which we have defined over here itself, once we are trying to call the function, we can get it return this value which we have defined inside of it. So I'll just make it a summary once again for you so that you can able to understand very clearly. So this is the overriding concept which we have discussed in the inheritance video also, but the thing is that what exactly is happening at the time only, I'll just try to use that in between of the contract. But if we have the same function inside of the base contract and even the derived contract itself, and if there is multiple base contract, what exactly we're supposed to do that, then in that case we have to use this concept so that it's easy for us to make that working for us. So instead of just to make our code a bit confused about it, which is a preference one, we have to get it defined over there where exactly we have the same function inside of the whole smart contract. And so by that way only that function will be get it identify, okay, these are the contract where exactly the same function is utilized, and then we try to get it execute, it's working for us. So that's all about the stuff which I just want to get it covered in this video itself. I hope you like this video. If you like this video, please subscribe my channel, and you can provide your feedback in the comment section of this video itself. Thank you so much once again. Take care. Bye bye.